Alright, today we're at the shop. Got my little helper with me. She's sleeping. We are going to do this direct mount stem. Get rid of this stock one. I'm hoping it kind of gets rid of this, I don't know, these bars are just a little tall for me. They look weird, they feel nice. But I'm hoping, this looks like it's going to make them sit just a little bit lower. And just wider. I think it'll look a lot better. The only other thing we have to worry about is this headlight mount. I think I'm gonna have to remake. This headlight sticks out so far, and the headlight itself isn't terrible, but the connector for it sticks straight out the back, and it's like I've got it rammed up in there as tight as it'll go. So if we look under here, I really don't like how they did this. Called a star nut, but it looks like it's just literally hammered in there, and that's all that holds your stem tight. Alright, and then this acts as your spacer now. So when we take this off, I'm either going to have to cut this tube and ram that down a little bit further, which I don't know about yet. We're going to see. Or I'm going to have to make a spacer to take up the space that this does, so that we can get that proper clamping force on top of the fork to keep everything together. So let's take this apart and see what we get into here. Here's a closer look at the headlight bracket I made. I just cut out this flat shape on the water jet and just bent it up a little bit. Good news, the bars look way better. I think I'm just gonna make a spacer for it right now. I got this aluminum pipe here. It's not direct fit, but it's pretty close. But I have this big fancy machine over here that I can make it a direct fit. So let's do that real quick. So I'm just going to do this for now, and maybe later on we'll cut it off. But it's only going to take 10 minutes to make up this spacer real quick, and then it'll be reversible. So we'll ride it for a little bit, see if we like it, and we'll go from there. Alright, here's our piece we cut. It's far from pretty, definitely won't fit, but we're gonna go fix that. Alright, Phoebes is coming to help us. We got our part here, and we're looking for 1 1/8" ID, and we're gonna go 1.73 on the height. Alright, next we gotta power this unit up, and we gotta put this lathe vise on. So this is a chuck or a vise for a lathe, but I built a little plate for it so I can mount it on my table, and I can put cylindrical parts in it. Alright, we got the part in the vise. Next step is to do some probing. Alright, I've got my part drawn up here. Very, very simple part. We're only actually going to use one tool for this. So the first one is just going to scrape the top. Second one's going to get our ID. And our last one is going to get the OD and just clean it up. The OD doesn't really matter, but nice to make it look nice, you know? Alright, here we go. Here's that first pass on the top. Here's our ID. And here is our OD pass. Alright, I lied. We are actually going to use one more tool. I'm going to put just the tiniest chamfer on this, just to clean up that sharp edge. Alright, so here's our finished half. So now I'm going to turn it over, we'll do the other half, and we'll be good to go. Alright, there we go. There's our spacer. Nice and perfect. Alright, the bars look and feel a million times better with this direct mount stem. This big thing sticking up in the air, however, not a huge fan of it. Looks. Alright, it's the next day. Came back and saw this big thing sticking up, and I said, nope, we're cutting it off. So, the star nut that's down here, all that is a nut inside of a little sheet metal star. Alright, and that star is bent up to where so you can push it down that way, but when you put a bolt in it and try and pull it up, it expands, it gets tighter. Kind of like a Chinese finger trap type deal. So what I did is I took a 3/8 extension with the square end, actually, because I think this end's too big. It doesn't let it do its thing, and I'm just hammering that down, and I'm gonna get it down to about here, and then we're gonna figure out how to cut that off. So here's how we're gonna cut this off here. I found this pipe cutter in the toolbox. It's a whirly-do one. So it's got a little cutting wheel, and you just slowly tighten it up. Tighten it up as you go round and round and round. Now it's not gonna take it completely off. We're still gonna have quite a bit left, but we're taking quite a bit off too. This is just as low as I can go with it. Alright, and just like that. So, now that we did all that, our fancy part we just made don't fit no more. So, I'm going to very carefully try and machine this down again to the proper size. Alright, there we are. Next up, we got to remake this thing, except a little bit longer, because that direct stem comes out and down. So we got to add some length to it and bend it sooner. We come over here to the water jet. Here's my new piece. I added 5/8 of an inch right here, and I'm going to bend it right after the bolt holes, and hopefully that fixes everything. The other thing I'm also going to try is cutting it out of some stainless instead of aluminum. Alright, here's what that stainless part looks like next to the aluminum one after I got it all bent up. There it is, finally. Alright, so I just rode this thing home, and I can't speak for why, but it feels so much better with this direct mount. Like, riding one-handed at speed and stuff, it doesn't feel like the bars are gonna like wobble right out of your hands. Like, it feels so much more solid.